Hey, family, thank you all for tuning in. I'm not going to take any calls tonight because instead of talking to me, I want you all to take a moment to talk to your children tonight. I know coronavirus and the protests and a lot of the crazy stuff the president has been doing has been taking center stage. But I think it's very important that we not take our eyes off our children during a time like this. The suicide rate for black children is up 73% over the last year. So it's very important for us to understand that while all this protest is going on, while we're seeing images of police putting their knees on the necks of black men, there's black men being hung or hanging themselves. In either case, it's still a traumatizing experience for our children. So I hope that we don't allow ourselves to be so distracted by what's going on in the world that we forget that our children are also experiencing what we're going through tenfold. And some of them have thought about killing themselves. And unfortunately, for some of you parents who are watching, some of you all have lost your children to suicide. And during this time was also, really related to the pandemic, because the children are now at home. Many of them are at home with the abusers. The parent that they usually can get away from, the parent that they can get away from and tell the school person, the teacher, they can't get away from that parent now. Now they're at home trapped with that parent and are being abused even more. Many of us have now moved in our relatives into our homes because of financial reasons or health reasons. And now those people, you're going to work and you don't know what's going on with your children with these men and women who are at home, because it happens to boys too, and women are also doing some of this assaulting. I'm going to read some of these stats to you guys, man. It's pretty overwhelming. First of all, since March, half of the hotline calls at the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, RAINN, it's called RAINN, RAINN .org. Half of the calls have been from children under 18, which means they're at home being assaulted, okay? And the numbers are just going through the roof. Of those calls, 79% said they were living with their abuser. 67% identified their abuser as a family member. Hope you all are listening. Race is also a factor. African-American children have almost twice the risk of sexual abuse than white children. And by the way, that 73% increase in suicide for black children, white suicide came down. The rate of suicide came down. 60% of black girls experience sexual assault for the first time by the time they're 18 years old. 60%. A lot of this behavior that we see with our girls is because they've been assaulted. We think they're fast and they don't care. They don't have respect for themselves. As parents, we're not protecting them, and they've been assaulted. They just haven't told it to us. And sometimes they don't tell us because we already act like we don't believe them. We're taking the side of the person who's abusing them. Let me go on. For every black woman that reports her sexual assault, there are at least 15 black women who don't. For every black woman that reports being assaulted, there's 15 other women, black women, who don't report it. 1 out of 4 women in the church are being assaulted. In the church. All right? Approximately 22 to 29% of all child sexual abuse victims are males. Listen, I know this is a very uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. I've been doing this Stolen Innocence show for a long time, and it breaks me down every time I do it. I have not been a victim of sexual assault. If I was, I would share it with you so I could help you all heal, but a lot of you all have. And I'm going to say this on a personal note before I read any more of these statistics. I mean, I've had bad experiences in my life that weren't related to sex, and I know that I've had nightmares about them, just bad things that may have happened. But I cannot imagine what it must be like for a child to close their eyes and relive that experience for the rest of their lives. And we as parents can prevent it or we can stop it. Just because it's happening doesn't mean it has to keep happening. If you talk to a lot of these abuse victims, which I have for years, the abuse lasts for years. Years. I mean, it's bad enough that it happened one time, but it happens for years. Look, I know you all are busy. I know you got a lot going on with the coronavirus. I know you're worried about your job. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. But please, tonight, right now, after this video is over, talk to your children and ask them two simple things. Have you thought about hurting yourself? And second, has anyone touched you inappropriately? This is the conversation we need to have with our children at a very young age about inappropriate touching. And for some of these men, all this violence you see out here with a lot of these men, some of that violence, some of it is the fact that they were neglected and abused as boys. And so they don't feel like their lives are worth anything because they were treated so badly as children. So please talk to your kids. This is a very important time right now because we get caught up in this pandemic, man, and people all over the place. Got the crazy president out here tweeting white power videos, tweeting videos with white men outside their house holding rifles. But while we're doing that, while we're out here protesting police brutality, make sure we're not missing the brutality that's going on in our own homes. This is very important to me. I spent my time away from radio. When I was gone from radio, I didn't go kick it. I was mentoring black boys at a high school in Orlando, Evans High School, with a young teacher by the name of Jarvis Wheeler who challenged me and a lot of other men, hey, y'all over here talking, do something. These young men need us. Those 3 years were some of the most rewarding years of my life because I know I made an impact in those boys' lives. So look, all I'm asking you all to do, talk to your kids today. Fathers, I know you may not live with your kids. Call them anyway. Find out what's going on, man. Find out what's going on with your kids, with this other man that's in that house. Or women abuse children too. Don't think this is just a man thing that your boys are safe or that your girls are safe from women because they're not. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. There's a good chance there's going to be a part 2 to this show. And I'll take some calls tomorrow on suicide, teen suicide, and also on sexual assault and how that's impacting our children because they're being locked up with the abusers now. They're not going to school. They're at home with him all day or her being abused. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for Bathing at the Dark. Please talk to your children about suicide and sexual assault. And please reach out to RAINN. There's great resources. I've been working with this organization for 15 years. The Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, RAINN, RAINN.org. The phone number, and I'll put it on the blog when I get done, is 800-656-HOPE, 800-656-HOPE, or 800-656-4673. I'll put that information on the blog when I get done. Check on your kids when you come home, when you leave them with people.